Hey everyone, welcome to a special bonus episode of Locked On Lakers. Brian Kamenetsky, Andy Kamenetsky. LeBron James has a contract with the Lakers. Give you the details next.
You are Locked On Lakers, your daily Los Angeles Lakers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks to everybody for making Locked On Lakers your first listen of every day, Monday through Friday, no matter how or where you get your podcasts. This one's always free and never behind a paywall. And Locked On Lakers on YouTube is where over 24,000 subscribers are all hanging out and wondering about the implications of LeBron James having a new deal with the Lakers. It is a little bit shorter, perhaps, than original speculation. That's something we can talk a little bit about both in this bonus episode, Andy, and going forward. But reportedly a 1-1, back to the 1-1 thing for a maximum value of about $104 million. Although it has been reported by Woj, who was also up very early pushing this news out, that LeBron might be willing to shave $1 million or $1.5 million, whatever it turns out to be, to keep the Lakers safely under the second apron. As we all know, we all live in apron world now, and the second apron makes it really hard to start doing stuff to improve your team. So the window, Andy, for go out and find me somebody that that can improve the team and I will take less money, 15, 20, whatever might be less, that window has apparently closed.
Yes, it has closed. Talked about this before when it was originally reported. I think that this was put out there with a very, I don't want to say expectation, because I do think LeBron was genuinely hopeful that they could get guys like, literally like Klay Thompson, James Harden, DeMar DeRozan, or Jonas Valanciunas.
The reports on Wednesday. It's Wednesday that the Klay and LeBron had talked a lot about this.
Right, exactly. But
a lot going on.
His very specific list, I think LeBron was very sincere about wanting those guys, but I also think that there was an effort to proactively get ahead of, because I've already seen some backlash among Laker fans for LeBron taking the max salary allowed at age 40. Doesn't he care about winning? Blah, blah, blah. And we're going to do another show where we can get into more of the implications of this. But I think that there was some getting ahead of that on Team LeBron. And with that in mind, I think letting Woj know via Rich Paul that he's going to be talking with Rob Pelinka and Jeannie Buss about the possibility of taking like $1 million or so less to remain under the second apron, I fully expect LeBron to do that. I think that's what's going to end up happening for two reasons. First, there is no reason to let that become public unless you plan to do it, because you're talking about, say, you're talking about a couple $1 million from a guy that is, an active billionaire.
Yeah.
Like, you don't put that out there unless you're willing to do it. But also, too, assuming LeBron cares at all about getting help, because the second apron is legitimately restrictive in terms of the things that you can actually do, even just via trade, to improve the team. LeBron needs that flexibility more than he needs the mill and change. Like,
yeah, $1 million, to put it in perspective, let's say it's $1.5 million. That's like 1.5% of the value of this contract. Barely, right. Like might even a little less than that. So
I would be very surprised if he doesn't do it.
And there is still, I think
which is good for the Lakers. It's good for the Lakers.
They pushed this out, I think, until the 6th is when he would sign it. So there is still a little bit of time. Like, if the Lakers can figure out a way to acquire DeMar DeRozan, can figure out a way to fold in another player, the clock is still open there for presumably if they, Rob Pelinka pulled a rabbit out of his hat and said, "Hey, LeBron, we've got this set up for you. Would you be willing?" There's still probably some time to go back and do it, but I think what this does, and Woj, was on talking about it on Wednesday morning. A couple clips on SportsCenter and things like that, and I think certainly that the messaging around it is we don't think that there's a big move coming. Like that the Lakers are going to be operating on the margins, that they're going to try to figure out what they really don't want to do in terms of these picks, which, by the way, makes sense, is you don't want to have to use a first round pick to get Gabe Vincent off your books, or to get, you don't want to have to attach something to get somebody to take D'Angelo Russell. And you only have 2 of them that you can use. You need to be using them for active acquisitions, things that improve you, not to try to sort of like deconstruct the roster more. You have to make them more impactful. That you can't use them just get off money. And I true, it doesn't absolve Rob from being in the situation that they're in, but it also means don't compound it with a mistake going forward.
Look, we've talked about this a lot. The Lakers were in a difficult position when it comes to optionality in trying to make big dramatic moves to improve the roster. Like, even if you think Rob Pelinka is wholly unsuitable for this job and should be let go, it doesn't change the fact that the Lakers were in a difficult position. If you want to put it on Rob, put it on Rob, but you only can work from the position that you're in.
Bronny also signed, agreed to his deal. It's 3 years, a max 4-year deal, the 4th year being an option. It's a little under $2 million a year. Team option, right? A little under $2 million a year, which is pretty standard for, a guy in his position. Probably less money they would have made in college this year on doing NIL stuff, and. So that stuff factors in. Like, could the Lakers have an extra roster spot had they not given that to Bronny? Okay, so now you have 1. But given where they are, it would probably, you're talking about a minimum player at this point. So they've got work to do if they want to try to move this roster around. How do try to unload guys, try to shift things, and may just be waiting to see what everything looks like when it's done. The LeBron news, I would say the biggest thing that's surprising to me isn't the number, it's the structure. There was a lot of talk that LeBron wanted a 3-year deal, and the Lakers certainly would have given it to him if that's what he wanted. And it does make we're doing this again. Like, we are not off the LeBron James 1-and-1 treadmill, where he kind of keeps that leverage over the team to some degree. And I see that you can look at it 2 ways. You can look at it, the first way being actually there were about 3, maybe a few different ways to look at it. The first one being keeping up that sort of relentless pressure on Pelinka and the front office and saying, you show me year to year, like I can always go next year. As to whether or not the Lakers are moving in a direction that he likes. It could be a matter of him believing that, yes, I understand I'm 40, but I'm still playing at an incredibly high level. And, we can kind of extend that path out a little bit with the 1-and-1s and give myself control, whatever it might be. Or it might be there is a certain amount of flexibility that is built into a 1-and-1 every year. If LeBron opts out again next year, the Lakers will be in a position where perhaps he could take less money next year to accommodate a player coming in. So there is a certain degree of flexibility that's offered to the Lakers, in addition to that pressure aspect by LeBron continuing on the 1-and-1.
I guess I understand what you're saying. I don't disagree with it. I think this is just life with LeBron. I mean, there have been times where LeBron has had 2 or 3 years left on his deal, and you can see that the front office is sweating the idea of he could leave. And I don't mean just the Lakers. I mean all organizations. This is just sort of life with LeBron.
If LeBron signs a 3-year deal at age 40, it's that dynamic is different.
No, but the pressure, he wants to leave. He wants to. This is just the way it is. It's the way with all superstars. It's not even that way with LeBron. It's been this way with LeBron because LeBron is LeBron. But the truth is, we see this now with all superstars because big contracts are now signed, and we'll worry about the details later. The details including I may decide I want to leave. Yeah, it's basically become get your money. Figure out the rest.
But it is a different dynamic, though. LeBron saying that at 40-41 is a different dynamic than when he says it at with Cleveland or Miami in the middle of his career. I just that part it seems.
I don't know. I mean, we don't have to get in the weeds of it,
There's
but
only
look
so
at
much
how
longer he's going to play. So
right. But
anyway,
but there's still been this operating from fear of him leaving in his 40s. It's still been there, and people still speculate over it. This is just life with LeBron.
Just a little quick bit of news. The Lakers did make some moves on the assistant coach front. Nate McMillan and Scott Brooks, two longtime veteran coaches with a lot of head coaching experience and both been very successful at the NBA level, agreed to join JJ Redick's staff. So a lot of details coming out about how the rest of that staff will fill out, what everybody's individual duties will be, and all that. We'll get into it more for tomorrow's show. But that is a very positive move for the Lakers to start to fill out that staff and doing it with successful veteran coaches. Scott Brooks has been attached to the Lakers for a while, but Nate McMillan less so. So that is that's a positive development for sure for the Lakers.
Real quick, want to let people know that Locked On Lakers is brought to you by Game Time. And years ago, some friends of mine and I, we went to go see LL Cool J in LA at the now defunct House of Blues. It was a last minute decision. We didn't know how to get tickets, so we ended up going to a scalper. These ended up being fake tickets. And we managed to get into the show through totally random, unrepeatable luck. But after that experience, I'm like, I'm not doing that again because I don't want to be stressed buying tickets to events. And you don't have to because of Game Time. It's the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy shows in theater near you. And with killer deals on last minute tickets, the best price guarantee, you can stop stressing over the tickets, start getting hyped for the fun. They've got all-in pricing where you can toggle a feature that shows the total up front, and there's no surprise fees at the checkout. And the Game Time guarantee means you always get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section or row for less, Game Time credits you 110% of the difference. It's the fastest growing ticketing app in the country for a reason. So snag the tickets without the stress using Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed.
All right. Any news breaks, we'll bring it to you. Otherwise, we'll see everyone tomorrow.